Hi everyone, welcome back. I got a lot of requests for doing some makeup, so in today's video I'm going to be doing a get ready with me drugstore makeup look. If you don't follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is at Rach Whisk. I just wanted to say before I got started, thank you so much to everyone that reached out and watched my first video. I really appreciate it. And you guys are the reason that I'm doing this. I mean, I really wanted to do it, but the fact that you guys are cheering me on and telling me how much you enjoy it really makes it all that much better. Okay, let's get into the makeup portion of the video. I did just wash my hands, but I'm still definitely going to use a little bit of hand sanitizer. I'm definitely going to be trying to use all drugstore products for today's makeup look. The only products I don't have that are from the drugstore are a eyebrow pencil and mascara, so just try to bear with me. The first thing I'm going to be doing is going in with a moisturizer. I am using the CeraVe facial moisturizing lotion. It's ultra lightweight and it is oil free. I use this not every day, but almost every day. It's one of my moisturizers that I keep on hand and really enjoy using. This is just how I do my everyday, day-to-day makeup. Everyone is different. Different things work for different people. So if something that I do isn't what you do, but whatever you do works for you, that's totally fine. It's all about what works for you and what makes you feel beautiful. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go in with some foundation after the moisturizer. Today I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation in the shade 201. I have almost every color. I have shades for when I'm tan, I have shades for when I'm pale. I self-tan, so sometimes that can, you know, affect that. I'm gonna squirt a little bit onto the palette. I'm gonna take my foundation brush and I'm just gonna go in and apply some. I am gonna stamp this out with a beauty blender or a Real Techniques sponge. So keep that in mind. I have to wear foundation basically every day. For me, it just doesn't really make a ton of sense to spend a ton of money on something that I'm going to, you know, go through fairly quickly. So I try to use drugstore where I can when it works for me. If I have like a special event, I would probably use something different. I'm just gonna start pouncing this in a little bit. And you want to make sure your beauty sponge, whatever sponge you use, is damp. I take it underwater and I wring it out, so you want to make sure, like, you don't want it soaked when you're using it, but you want to make sure like water has run through the entire thing. I would use a bigger one, I just don't have a clean one, so there's that. So this is gonna take a little extra long. I do want a little more coverage up here, a little more coverage on the cheeks. I am going to be using a little concealer, but I'm just I have very like red skin, so I like a full coverage. I don't know. I tell myself I want to look natural and then I end up with a full face of makeup on. So we have our foundation on. The next thing we're going to do is we're gonna conceal, and there's actually a lot of drugstore concealers that I have no problem using for day to day. Definitely. For my work kit and for what I use on my clients is totally different. This is just me day to day, what I like to do to wear to work or to go out. So right now I've been using the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and I've been using the shade Fair Warm. A couple others that I have used and do like are the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. This is like a very popular drugstore concealer. And I also really like the Makeup Revolution and the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear. I have used all three of these and they have worked great. So it's really personal preference. When you like take it out of the cartridge, there is a ton of product at first, so I just like to like take half of the product off and then use what I have from there. It's a lot, there's a lot at first. So I'm just gonna put some down the center of my face. I just have a weird habit of putting some concealer right here. So I'm gonna start with that, and I'm gonna blend that out first. The center of my face is done. So before I start doing my under eye, I do want to set my forehead and around my chin. I am going to be using the RCMA No Color Powder. Another drugstore powder that I really like is the Airspun powder. And you can find this at Walmart, you can find it at CVS, and I really love it. I just find that sometimes because it does have a little bit of a color to it, sometimes certain areas, I don't know if I put too much, but sometimes I just notice that I can see a little bit of the color, and you get this like whole container for a really good price. So that's why I like this one. You don't need a lot of powder at all. I'm just going to press it out one more time just in case anything like wanted to start creasing or anything. I'm not gonna let it. I'm using this Real Techniques brush, and I'm just gonna dip it in my powder a little bit and then press off the excess, and then just, I'm basically pressing the translucent powder into the skin. It's kind of like baking with like a brush. I just find that for the initial like setting that this works best for me. You can of course wait until you do your eye concealer, but I just start creasing kind of quick sometimes, so I just like to get it set. Once those areas are set, we're gonna go back, take our e.l.f. concealer and do our under eyes. This is honestly plenty for me. You can do more if you'd like, you can do less. I don't have super dark circles, so I don't tend to go like overboard with concealer on my under eyes. So I'm gonna go back in and start blending that out, and then I will set my under eye with the same powder as well. You may have noticed I also did my lids a little bit. I don't always do that, but today for the camera, I'll do it. So now that that's done, very quickly, I want to set my under eyes as quick as I can. Because if you don't, you're gonna start to get creasing. After I have set everything that I want to, I'm just going to take a big fluffy brush and just remove any of the excess that was like too much. Okay, I zoomed y'all in so that you could see a little better. I also just wanted to say I apologize if the lighting is off today. It is raining, but I really wanted to get this video filmed for you guys. So I kind of am like right in front of my window. I have my mirror next to me, bouncing light for me. So if the lighting is off and it's really annoying, I'm sorry, but I'm doing the best that I can. And then you can either go into your eyebrows from here, which sometimes I do, or you can start bronzing your face and bringing some color back into your face. And just because I feel super pale, I'm gonna do that next. The first bronzer I'm gonna use is the Butter Bronzer. This is made by Physicians Formula, and you can tell that I really like it because I have like none left. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that bronzer. And I'm just gonna start going around my hairline. The sun was naturally tanning my face. So for bronzing or contouring my cheeks, I like to go from the top of my ear, and then I like to go down towards my mouth, but I like to stop right about where my eye is. So like right about here, I'll stop. So I'm gonna take that and just go down a little bit. And this does not have to be perfect. Again, we're gonna start at the top of my ear, and I'm gonna find where my eye is and go. Okay, so after the Butter Bronzer, I'm going to take this other bronzer that I have from Milani, and I have it in the shade 9, which is Dolce. I had seen a lot of people using these bronzers, and I really wanted to try one. I really love their blushes, so I decided to give their bronzer a try. I typically just like to use a little bit of this like on top of the matte bronzer that I've already put on. You can use the same brush, or you can use like a bigger brush. I'll use one that's a little bit bigger. One thing about using brushes in powder, look at the size of the brush head. This brush, because the brush head is larger, is going to disperse the product more lightly and less like, it's going to give you less coverage, where if you use something that's densely packed like this brush, you're going to get a lot more product and it's going to give you like more coverage. So I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to take this brush, it's a Morphe brush, and I'm just going to press into the bronzer a little bit, and then I'm just going to put a little in the same areas. Make sure we don't have like a helmet head or anything. One thing with bronzer, I like to use a couple different ones just because I do feel like it gives more dimension to the skin than just using one. Once we have our bronzer done, we're gonna go in with some blush. This is one of my all-time favorite blushes, and it's from the drugstore. It's one that I keep in my bridal kit. It's one that I recommend to almost anyone and has been around forever. It is the Milani Luminoso blush, and it is like my favorite drugstore blush I've ever seen. I'm going to take that on the same brush that I just used for my bronzer, and I'm just going to press it in a little bit. And then when I apply blush, I like to smile in the mirror and just put a little bit on the balls or the apples or rounds of my cheeks. I am the type of person that I wear blush if I wear makeup. Some people don't love wearing blush and they don't ever wear it, and that's totally fine. But that's just not me. I'll just take a clean brush after and just blend out a little bit, just so if there's too much anywhere, it can be blended. Okay, so after we have done blush, I'm gonna go in and put my brows on. This is one of the products that I do not have from the drugstore, so I'm just gonna use what I have and just let you guys watch. I'm not really gonna talk through it just because brows could be like a whole nother video. I will tell you what I'm using. I'm going to be using the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade 3, and then I'm also going to be using their Give Me Brow in the shade 3 as well. And this is also just one way that I do them. Depending on the products that I'm using, I do my brows like all different ways. So this is how I do my brows using a pencil and the Gimme Brow. And then I like to start in the back. I always tell my clients at the salon that when they fill their brows in, to start from the back and work their way forward, just because starting right here in the front, that is like way too much of a commitment. If you start there and you draw this crazy straight line, what are you gonna do? So this way, if you start in the back and work your way forward, it's a little less of a commitment, and there's like, you get more comfortable as you work to the front. So I just find that for me, it works the best this way. And I also think that everyone has that like one brow that gives you more trouble. Like for me, this brow, I just can never just like get it done easily for some reason. One thing that's very important for me when I use Gimme Brow is you'll see that there is like it's hard to see, but there tends to be a lot of buildup of product on the brush. So I like to take some of the excess product off. There's nothing worse than like going in and just messing up the whole brow you just worked so hard on. If you've never used this product before, I don't recommend going in backwards like this. But it's basically just a mascara for your brows. If you get a little spot like I did up there, just take the back of a spoolie and that should take care of it. Okay, so our brows are filled in. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with some highlighter, and I do have a drugstore highlighter. We are gonna be using the Wet n Wild highlighter in the shade 321B Precious Petals. I have used this before and I really do like it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit underneath my brow bone to make my brows pop a little bit. I'm gonna take a small brush just like this, and I'm just gonna pop it right under my brows on my brow bone. After we put it underneath our brows, I'm going to take a little bit of a larger brush and I'm just going to put a little bit on my cheekbones. It is more of like a pinky peach highlighter, but it's still like beautiful. I don't love putting highlighter on my nose because I kind of already have a big nose, so I just like to put a little bit on my upper lip here, and then I just use my finger to blend it out. After we are done with the highlighter, we are going to set our skin. I am going to be using the Pixie Glow Mist. So I'm going to take that top off and I'm just going to... Is it stuck? Oh no. It's not working. What the heck? Okay, so I was gonna use the Pixie Glow Mist, but the spray isn't working. So I'm gonna use my Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. And I'm just gonna set my skin. The setting spray really just helps to like blend everything together. My makeup is set, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some mascara on and I'm going to pop some lashes on. So stay tuned. Gonna use a little bit of the Tarte liner. Alright guys, so I got the lashes on, I got mascara on, I got lower mascara on, And the lashes that I'm wearing are the Sephora and House of Lashes collection in Azalea, and I really do like them. So they are not drugstore, they are from Sephora, and they are the House of Lashes Azalea collection. Everyone, the drugstore makeup look is done. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry if it wasn't too in-depth. I'm trying not to make the videos super long. If you have any questions about the makeup, then just leave them down below.